Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods here this morning. You know, the weekend's over. It's Monday, but I'm not sad about it because Monday nights we have our live stream 9 o'clock Eastern, and it's just like a whole party with all of you great friends, fans out there. Fans, actually, you're more like friends and family to me. We have great discussions and everything else, talking about what else the Dallas Cowboys, the news that is, and we'll recap some of the things that we liked in the game and what we don't like. Now, the Dallas Cowboys back from Hawaii, great trip. Nobody, no major injuries, although we had Jeff Heath who didn't play, but we hear that that was a minor situation. Thus far, we've been pretty lucky with major injuries. Hopefully, we can get Randall Cobb, excuse me, Amari Cooper back on the field, and hopefully Demarcus Lawrence, Tyrone Crawford, and Byron Jones, that those guys will be able to be back on the roster by week one. But make no mistake, we're only 17 days, 11 hours, 48 minutes, and 10 seconds away from kickoff of the 2019 season. That's not much time at all. Um, that game, of course, Tony Pollard had some really, really great spots. But again, I'm going to say blocking needs a lot of work, and I mean a lot of work. But once they get this deal done with Zeke, once we get him back into the fold, I think you may be looking at a dynamic one-two punch of running backs to be able to spell Zeke and know that you have a guy who's also a playmaker. At least I know it's only preseason, so don't get too hyped just yet. But you start to see individual ability in preseason. Doesn't necessarily mean that you scheme and practice and everything else and go for everything. Now I got to tell you, it's kind of amazing to me because Jerry Jones basically said Zeke who, and because he's a multi-billionaire. He didn't get there by being stupid. He's been getting there by making deals and making a name. So for him to go ahead and say Zeke who, he's putting more pressure on Zeke Elliott to take a deal that he might not want to take and so on. Saying, hey, we can make it without you. But in the end, if we can get him back in, and you've got a Tony Pollard out there, all of a sudden you're going to have so many different things and looks that you can do. But make no mistake about it, Tony Pollard is not Zeke Elliott, at least not yet. Now, as far as my quarterback goes, Jerry Jones, this is interesting. A lot of people question whether Dak is one of those guys that needs to be in the top tier. I've never questioned that. I don't think there's any doubt that he's in the top level of the paid quarterbacks. There's no question in my mind about that. Now, how do we make this all fit? And what can we do to have all of the best team around him? That is what we're trying to work on. Which is true. It's not a case of, we don't want to pay Dak. They're looking at it and saying, we want to make sure we don't get into cap hell like we used to be. And make no mistake about it, the Cowboys from about 2007 to 2015 were constantly underwater in the cap. 20, $25 million. And they basically had to rob Peter to pay Paul. Let's go to Tony Romo, restructure his contract. In the end, it was like going to a payday loan or a title loan company. You get some money, but it's going to cost you more down the road. And it was like a never ending cycle. Enter Stephen Jones, who did away with all the big free agent signings. Stephen Jones, who did away with all of the crazy drafting for like going for, a Johnny Manziel and drafting smart and getting guys like Zach Martin. Doing away with a lot of the big trades for like Roy Williams and things like that, although we did trade for Amari Cooper. But what this team has been doing, and you have to look at this team and say are definitely pointed in the right direction. They have accumulated great talent. And one of those pieces that you may see have a breakout year is this man, Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup and Dak seem to be getting that chemistry. You've seen him going deep twice already in 2 weeks and two drives. And let's go to this clip and listen to what Michael Gallup had to say after the game.
Just another example of you feeling good, feeling comfortable in this offense.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Me and Dak got that work in the off season. We had OTAs, mini camp, all that stuff. So it's going good for us.
Take us through the deep ball hookup and kind of what you guys saw there and why that worked so well.
It was single high out there. I had a go ball. I pretty much knew it was going to my side. So I was just trying to get in position to make a play.
What did you see Witten make that catch on third down? Was it? You didn't get a chance to see that because you were gone. You were rookies before you when he was gone last year. What does that mean to see him come out and make a play?
That's a big step for him. Big step for all of us. For me getting to see it too. He's coming out here and he's doing what he's supposed to do, and we admire that, and that's what we'll be looking forward to in the season.
How impressed were you with what Pollard did today?
Oh, hey, that's a playmaker. TP playmaker. That's what he's going to do for us. Very excited for that young cat. He's got a good head on his shoulder, so it should be fun.
How good were you guys feeling going 97 yards on that drive when you get back to the sideline after overcoming that 20 touchdown? How crazy was that?
Oh, yeah, I think everybody, all the ones wanted to go again. We wanted another drive. We didn't get it, but everybody wanted to go again. When you go 97 yards, it makes you feel good coming back to the sideline. You're just ready to go. So it was good for us.
How was yesterday, the trip to the Pearl Harbor Memorial?
Oh, that was... everybody had a good time, so it was good for us.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, see, here's what I want you to notice. And I talked about this last night. To me, this team feels different. And, we've always talked about Jason Garrett kind of guys. I think the locker room has evolved. You don't have anybody that's, kind of going against the grain, so to speak. It seems like these guys are family. When you watch during the off season where most of these guys live in Dallas, where they are literally going to hockey games, baseball games, basketball games, they're working with each other's charities. They're going to Duke University and stuff. They're going to shooting ranges and things like that. They're going fishing together. This team has become a tight-knit group of players. And you can see the difference in the joy. Like Michael Gallup just said, you got to read between the lines when you listen to people out there. Tony Pollard, he's a playmaker. He's out there, doing what he needs to do. You can see the smile and the joy on his face as he's talking about the plays and talking about the work that they put in the off season. Because that's key. Because that's where the development comes in. And I'm not faulting Tony Romo for this or Des Bryant, but see, in the later years of the two of them together, unfortunately, we had injuries in the offseason. So it would be, okay, it's training camp, we can't practice, so, we're going to show up week one and start playing. To their credit, they were always able, Tony Romo was able to just come in there cold and be able to play. But there's a lot to be said about that work in the off season, and you've been able to see where Dak had the guys out of San Diego this year. Last year was down in Florida, where they're working together to try and get as much action, much practice together and understanding. Because football is about, more than anything else, reaction. If you have to think in a play, you're beat. It's literally got to be reaction. And you can begin to see a little bit of that. And I know it's only preseason, and it's so funny. And I can't wait for today to see some of the talking heads. And yes, Billy, I do watch the shows and things, but I still give you my take on things, okay? So I've been accused of, he just copies Sports Center and puts it out there. No, if that's what you believe, then go just watch Sports Center. But I do those things to show you the misconception of what's out there. Because it's amazing to me. On Twitter, they showed a clip of the the deep pass to Amari Cooper, the deep pass to Michael Gallup. And reading the comments, the Cowboy fans were just like, terrible ball placement. He sucks. He's a bum. Get rid of him. He's not worth crap. And they had some that were held because they were so vile that they couldn't show them. And I'm sitting here thinking about And I'm waiting to see if I see any of this. How Matt Ryan, who, he played some too. And I know it's preseason, and this is what they'll say. It's preseason. He was sacked 3 times. 3 times. The NFL MVP was overthrowing people, and he was 2 of 5 for 11 yards. And I'm curious to see if they'll say anything about him, because it seems like it's only where we're talking about Dak Prescott being 5 for 5, leading them on a 97 touchdown drive, 65 yards, where we're talking about whether or not this pass was a back shoulder fade, poor ball placement, or what, and just trashing the guy. Everybody else gets a pass. Because I've gone through looking for Pat Mahomes, for people to talk about, Pat Mahomes didn't look like quite as good as he did last year. Is there cause for concern? Is there an issue with ball placement? Has he digressed? I didn't see any of that. Didn't see anything about Matt Ryan and, of course, the offense of Atlanta. But hey, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll, in which case I got to go get to my day job. Hope to see you guys here tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, for our live stream. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Hopefully this week we will get these deals done, and we will just be focusing on the play on the field. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you soon.